man jizzes. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jeremy Fox Miller. This here is Aaron Nix, and we are going to provide you a review of the National Football League from the past week.
Week 6.
Week 6, yes.
Yeah, come on, you're supposed to... Hey, you're the American here, right? So technically, this is your territory, and we're about to find out that a British man can embarrass an American very easily.
Oh,
let's get into it, man. Who we got first on the roster? First on the docket, man. Which tie was first, man?
How about we start with your Broncos, man?
Yes!
Yes!
Let's start with how we field goaled the New England Patriots to death. Yes. Drew Lock may suck a massive amount of dick, but I'll tell you what. Field goals, mate. Oh, my God. Brandon McManus was like, do you know what? Let me just get my boomstick out, get my third leg out, and just twat the Patriots off the field. Because, yeah. I assume you've seen all the games, or you've at least watched all the highlights of every game, like I have. I'm mental American football. Like I watch all 7 hours of Red Zone, the Sunday night, both the Monday night game. I watch everything live, all of it. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I must inhale all of it. It is the best sport on earth. Broncos now 2-3 after it was a shame to win because obviously the Patriots come off of this week, COVID-19 tests. They had Cam Newton back in the starting lineup, which obviously meant that, well, that's probably why I had the Patriots to take the spread, which they didn't. They decided to spread them, exactly, and take it they did.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with our defense. Our offense was still trash. Drew Lock is not proving to be this messiah quarterback. I have a big issue with John Elway, actually. You know, he's in there as a director of football, the general manager. And ever since Peyton Manning, we've struggled to find anyone who's relatively competent as a quarterback. And let's be frank, actually. Peyton Manning, right? The first couple of seasons was pretty good. His last season when we won a Super Bowl 50, he was awful going into that Super Bowl, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
People will forget that he was dropped in favor of Brock Osweiler with about 3 or 4 games to go. And, yeah, so anyway, fast forward, here we are, Patriots. We're 1-3 going into this. Our only win on the season was against the Jets. Yeah, like, you know, and even then they fucking gave us a good game of it, and I thought, oh God, we're going to get humped. Bill Belichick's going to come in and he's going to shove a thumb up Vic Fangio's anus, who, by the way, sucks. You know, it's a great win for a Broncos fan, but there's still massive discrepancies with this team. Your thoughts on it?
My thoughts on it are Drew Lock does need to either wake up or get benched. He has done jack shit for this Broncos team. All he really does is throw interceptions.
He falls over as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I forgot about that part.
Get it right, you cretin.
My thing that I'm more worried about than with Drew Lock is Cam Newton. Like, he was overthrowing his receivers. His receivers weren't able to get open. It was horrible. Of course, he didn't have Sony Michel to hand the ball off to. He had one less lineman because of COVID. They just looked ragged. They did. They looked horribly ragged. And I would not be surprised if the Patriots don't make the playoffs this year.
I think you have to factor in that there was limited practice, and who is the one coach in this league who's going to need practice more than anybody else? Somebody who really thrives on practice, working a game plan out for his opposition. They didn't have time to prep for the Broncos. The Broncos are still very effective on defense. You know, even though Von Miller's out for the season, people forget we still have plenty of weapons on the D. The secondary still soaks up a lot of pressure. They got a couple of picks on. I think they sacked him 4 times. You know, to be honest, we have a history of getting a Cam Newton. If you remember Super Bowl 50, Von Miller abused him. He literally abused him. He victimized him in the Super Bowl. And Cam Newton, if there is one thing about him, if the secondary can get round, if he hasn't got a strong offensive line, he can get in trouble very quickly. But I'm not willing to write off the Patriots just yet. They've still got plenty in the tank. They've still got a very vaunted defense, so to speak. Let's not forget the Broncos on offense. I mean, realistically, if the Patriots had played like that against, say, like a high-powered offense like the Steelers or the Titans, they would have got utterly pumped. But at the same time, they've got the best coach in the league in Bill Belichick. I know everyone hates the Patriots, and probably less so now that Brady's over at the Bucks, but they're still the Patriots. They still have Bill Belichick. They still have weapons. Cam Newton is not a scrub by any means, although he certainly struggled at the back end, especially at the Carolina Panthers. He's got injured, obviously. I think it was Kyle Allen came in for him. Did reasonably well. He's now doing jack squat. So,
Kyle Allen is the quarterback for the Washington football team, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I said, he's doing jack squat. So, hey, it is what it is. But I'm pleased that we got a win. We're 2-3. I don't expect anything from this season. But like I say, we need a quarterback badly. We haven't had a regular quarterback since, dare I say, Jay Cutler. And, there was the famous 6-0 start, and then we just binned it and finished 8-8.
No.
People talk. Hey, do you know what? Right, Broncos fans, rose tinted. That's fine. I get it. We won a Super Bowl. Ever since then, we haven't made the playoffs. We're not going to this season. That team's terrible on offense. Drew Lock, what was it? I think he was 10 for 24, 2 picks. 0 touchdowns, about 180 yards or so of offense. That's not good enough. That's not going to win you any games. It's just not. And to be honest, there's not that many offensive weapons either. Cortland Sutton's out for the season. That hurts a lot. He was a very exciting wide receiver prospect, could really channel that Stephon Diggs-like energy. He's not there. Obviously, Von Miller in the secondary for the defense isn't there. But, as on offense as well, the biggest loss, and people just didn't appreciate him. They still don't now, and he's at the Saints. Emmanuel Sanders, man. Genuinely the hardest working wide receiver in the league. This is a guy who can get yardage for you, and he can make things happen where our receivers can't. Is he the flashiest? No. Is he the fastest? No. Always finds a lane, finds an opportunity, makes a catch when you need it most. And he was absolutely crucial to that Super Bowl winning team. And people forget about that, because we're not very famous for wide receivers. We've never been a famous franchise when it comes to wide receivers. We've always been about the run game, really. Got Melvin Gordon. He's good. I'm surprised we've got him as a pickup, but overall, I'm not expecting much from this season. But don't write off the Patriots, frankly. If we're just talking about them, they've got pieces in place. And if Bill Belichick can kind of stem the tide of whatever's going on with COVID-19, if this is kind of the back end of it, well, we've seen what happened with the Titans. They came out of it on fire, and they haven't really looked back since. And for some teams, actually, it's an opportunity to rest, and they take advantage of it, particularly if their games are delayed. But it was very clear from this game the Patriots were not ready to play the Broncos. And even though the Broncos are pretty trashy, there are only 32 teams in this league. Everyone plays you hard, even if they're apart from the Jets, obviously, and Washington, but we're just slightly above them. And we did fine. To be honest, I'm excited because this is the first time I've ever had the opportunity on a podcast to talk about my Denver Broncos. So, hopefully there'll be more to come, but not expecting much from this season. I don't think Drew Lock is the answer to anything, but anything's better than Joe Flacco, who was utterly miserable last season. So.
I'll give you that one. I mean, the only other quarterback that I could think of that was really good for you guys used to take a knee in the end zone every now and then.
Oh, man. Poor Tim. People laugh, right? Tim Tebow, winning records, and I don't know why you're laughing, because he beat the Steelers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Made that throw to Demaryius Thomas in overtime, man. It's game over, baby. I just remember that, man. That was what was that, 2012, I think? 2012,
yeah.
2013? Yeah, I remember running stark naked down the streets of Whiteley in Hampshire. I was very aroused at that point. And then, of course, we got fucking royally rogered by the Patriots. They were like, yes, we'll have none of that shit up in here. And they just fucking done us. So maybe this is, that win on the weekend, that somewhat gets one back for Tim Tebow. To be honest, I felt that Tim Tebow would have been an incredible running back, actually.
Oh, yeah.
His
Absolutely.
size, his strength, his power, and he was really good at running for a guy his size. And you couldn't bring him down. He's just massive. He was an absolute unit of a man. It's just a shame that, his throwing was pretty tragic. And let's not forget, of course, Prater as well, with the ultimate, right foot. I mean, Prater was making, that insane field goal, I think, against Chicago. It was 64 yards. Just there was plenty of erection-worthy moments in the Mile High.
Yes. What are your thoughts on Jerry Jeudy?
I like the kid, a little bit lightweight. And I know that obviously wide receivers aren't meant to be, humongous, but you look at the most prominent wide receivers in the league right now, guys like Mike Evans, Emmanuel Sanders, like I mentioned, Alvin Kamara seems to double for literally every weapon known to man, despite being officially a running back, I think. Those guys, and obviously one of your boys down at the Steelers as well, Claypool seems to, was it Claymore? No, it's Claypool.
Claypool. Chase Claypool.
Yeah, he, those kind of guys, they're able to ride the tackle a little bit. What I've seen of Judy is nice, but I'm also a little bit concerned about his ability to stay healthy because he takes big hits, particularly when he goes over the center. And you would expect, that's the other thing as well, we haven't got a prominent tight end. Noah Fant's quite good, but, he's
their converted wideout.
Well, yeah, that's exactly the problem there. He doesn't officially play tight end, although he has the ability and he has the build as well. I mean, there are pieces there and there's potential there, but you're not going to unlock that until you have a quarterback with a proper arm and a proper ability. Like, if you drop someone like, I don't know. I mean, obviously, you could name people like Aaron Rodgers, for instance.
Would you rather have Trevor Siemian right now?
No, Simeon was Simeon was bad. Like, Brock Osweiler looked like he might have potential. Then he just kind of binned it, and now he's more working for TV, I think. I genuinely think the quarterback carousel that we've had has been pretty fucking embarrassing. All we've been really late to say, and do you know what really hurts me? We had an opportunity to get Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're in the market for him. We were also in the market for Kirk Cousins. Such a weird one. You don't know with Kirk Cousins. He's either lights out or he's terrible. But one thing I'll say about Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I'm really looking forward actually to talking about the Dolphins because they've been very exciting this season. He just goes balls out every game. He's 37. He doesn't care. He loves football. He's clearly passionate about it. Find me a quarterback who's more passionate about playing the actual game itself than Ryan Fitzpatrick. At this point, you can tell that's not a man who's interested in money. That's a man who's interested in results. It's phenomenal.
I can give you one guy, and that's Drew Brees.
Yeah. I think Drew Brees is getting a bit of a bad rap at the moment. Like,
it really is.
It's what, you got out there at the age of 40 after you've put 18 years or so in this league, and be effective as the way you are. And New Orleans still look dangerous. They're still going to put a shit ton of points up on you. It's just the fact that Brees, it's father time, isn't it? Nobody outruns it apart from Tom Brady. Of course, he's invincible.
Exactly. All right.